I'm your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. A proud and a happy morning to every single one of you out there doing your thing. Hopefully you're having yourselves a great day and a great week. If you're not, it's the middle of the week. It's time to switch gears and get positive. If you're having a positive week, well, it's time to stay the course. So whatever your week has given you up to now, I hope that you have a fantastic week this week and have a great day today and are healthy and are safe and positive and doing what you can to bring it this week to the best of your ability. So hopefully all is going well and it continues to do so for you. Very happy to be here on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you are listening to internet streaming radio all throughout the world. MixLR, Mix Live Radio. That's mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. You're also listening on watching and listening on Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, Facebook.com/livenowdt, and on YouTube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're tuning into the show, thank you so much for listening and watching. And of course, you can listen, on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage as well. So you can check me out there and see what's going on wakeupcalldt.com with over 450 articles. The Central New York tab that tells you about all the beautiful companies we work with, even more. You can click on their logos as well. There's video, audio, so many things right on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com, and of course all throughout there's a bunch of different things. There's the Q's tab, constant updates and special exclusives is what it stands for, so you can check those out there. A lot of great stuff coming up here with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and always on wakeupcalldt.com, so make sure you check it out. As I said, we are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and Cafe Kubal with multiple locations for your dining pleasure. They are located on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse. And they're inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse. Thanks to Golisano for all they do for our kids. We truly appreciate it. And for the families out there, God bless. And prayerful miracles today, we hope very much so. You will also find Cafe Kubal out on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and their newest location on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road, Sweetheart Corners, for their first ever fully functional drive-through location, indoor-outdoor seating, and the drive-through at Cafe Kubal, North Syracuse. Sweetheart Corners, corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse. So plenty of ways to hang out with Cafe Kubal. So pick the one closest to you today. And if you're coming from out of town, come hang out and try some great stuff at Cafe Kubal. Definitely appreciate seeing you out here. So with all that being said, welcome to today's broadcast of Wake Up Call. You know that Wednesdays are special in the kind of the unique way that we handle it. We split up the show videos into two parts, and that is because our fantasy football is such a vast library of what we do here at Wake Up Call. We do it every single week, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, if not longer. And so Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com and the Winning Fantasy Football Group on Facebook, he joins me every single Wednesday, brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, to speak on all things fantasy football and the NFL. And so we will have a separate video on YouTube and Facebook. So after the first hour, when this video ends, and you're thinking, where'd the show go? There's going to be another one that we'll add right after it on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. So don't fret. It'll be right there for you. Promise. And we'll be able to bring that video to you. So today, Mike and I are going to be, I'll show you a little graphic. We'll give you a little taste. Mike and I are going to be doing something really cool today. As we head, believe it or not, we are just a couple weeks from the regular season. Mike and I will be picking our division. We'll be giving our division predictions, our divisional winners, not just the winners, but the entire predictions, 1 through 4. Mike Sofka and myself, Dan Tortora, will be giving you our 2021-2022 NFL division predictions. We'll start with the NFC North, South, East, West, as you see them left to right on your screen. And then we'll go to the AFC North, South, East, West, as you see on your screen as well, from left to right right underneath the NFC. We will be picking division by division, not just the champion of each division, but we'll be predicting the entire division 1 through 4. So we'll be telling you who we think is going to win, who we think is going to be the runner-up, who's third, who's fourth. Every single one of the 32 teams will be spoken about today, and you could find out where we have your team between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, as Mike and I predict the order of finish 1 through 4 for every single one of the 8 NFL divisions today. But before that video happens, in just 10 minutes, I will be joined, which I'm very excited about, I will be joined for the first time ever by the man, Mr. Donovan Brown. Donovan Brown will be joining the show out of the great state of Maryland. He is a 2022 wide receiver who is committed to Syracuse in that incoming freshman class of 2022. He'll be on the show to tell his story, to speak on his strengths, to speak on why he chose Syracuse and just how committed he is. So many great things coming up with Donovan Brown. At 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, Donovan will join the show for the first time ever, and I'm very excited to share his story. Donovan Brown, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, here on Facebook, MixLR, YouTube, and WakeUpCallDT.com inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Donovan Brown coming up in just a few moments. But before that happens, I want to get to some thoughts I have, keeping with Syracuse football, and to really discuss what's going down this season. Because the Syracuse Orange football team obviously needs to bounce back. Obviously, after going 1-10, you can only do one game worse. So this season, Syracuse is looking to take off. And there's a few areas to look into that we'll talk about around this conversation with Donovan Brown. Since hour number 1 will be Syracuse football related, I figured keep it all Syracuse football as we discuss. So, as we look at the roster and we look at some things that are going on, what I don't understand is why they don't put the depth chart up here anymore, which is very confusing on Syracuse's website, official website, cuse.com. But anyways, I digress. So, we look at the fact that this team is returning a bunch of players. Abdul Adams, who sat out last season in the COVID year, decided to sit out. He is back. Now, Abdul is a big part of this. Sean Tucker is on a watch list. Sean Tucker put himself in a great position last year. He was like 5th on the depth chart at the start of the season. And now he's back for this season. But coming from Hillside, North Carolina, Abdul Adams, who spent some time at Oklahoma with the Sooners, he's trying to make his way back into the fray, back to the backfield. And this is what happens. When you sit out, when you don't play, when you're injured, other guys can take your spot. Well, Abdul's going to have to work because Sean Tucker did a fantastic job. Now, Cooper Lutz last season, he played running back for Syracuse. He's a redshirt sophomore here, doing his thing, trying to find his footing as well. McKinley Williams is back as a redshirt senior. Abdul Adams, Devon Cooper, wide receiver. Eric Slater, D lineman. Offensive lineman Aaron Service, who's played right tackle, left tackle, and center. He's back. Josh Black is back, redshirt senior on the defensive line. So you got some good stuff there. Senior Kingsley Jonathan is there as well. Kingsley decided to come back, and Josh Black and Aaron Service all made the decision to come back. McKinley Williams. So defensive line-wise, between Josh Black, Kingsley Jonathan, and McKinley Williams, you got a lot of vets on that D-line. It's been a long time. Remember, Syracuse had veterans on the D-line, and then they lost veterans on the D-line. Well, now they got more vets on the D-line, which is huge for them. They need that help because when they went a few years ago, not having really any veteran status and having to rebuild the defensive line, there was a struggle. And so now with having these guys that had experience, that have played together, that understand each other, this is a good day for Syracuse football. And you would think that the defensive line, although it's a 3-3-5, so you got three sets of hands in the dirt instead of 4, it's still bodes well for the team, you would like to hope and think, because they have the veteran status of Kingsley Jonathan, McKinley Williams, and Josh Black. So God willing, all those gentlemen stay healthy. That gives you a nice room for the defensive line. And then outside of that, Tommy DeVito comes back, but he will be challenged by, they got a bunch of quarterbacks on the team right now. Garrett Schrader comes in from Charlotte, North Carolina, where he originally was from, but he is a transfer from Mississippi State. So Garrett Schrader comes into the game here. He was in 10 games with 4 starts in 2019. One of 3 FBS freshman quarterbacks to account for 1,000 yards passing and 500 yards rushing. So he finished number 28 nationally and number 3 in the SEC in yards per completion, 13.3 that season. Garrett Schrader coming in and is in the sophomore class, because remember, everybody gained a year during COVID. So Garrett Schrader's got some time here. Tommy DeVito is a senior coming off of an injury, and Garrett Schrader is coming in here as a sophomore, despite the fact that he spent some time already at Mississippi State. So there's some good stuff here for them. Jacoby and Morgan got some work in at the end of last season. He's considered a freshman still because he was a true freshman last year, and last year didn't count against your status as a student athlete. It didn't count as a year of eligibility, so he's a freshman again. Luke McPhail is there as a freshman as well, and Dylan Markowitz is registered a freshman, and Justin Lamson comes in from California, from El Dorado, and you know he was featured on Wake Up Call when he signed his national letter of intent. Justin Lamson is coming in as a freshman too. So a lot of youth with Syracuse and a lot of opportunity for the potential future of Syracuse under center, which is good. So I would imagine right now it's Garrett Schrader versus Tommy DeVito. Now, Tommy has struggled at quarterback. He has had his ups and downs, right? When he filled in for Eric Dungy and he played if he came in to a game while a game had already started, or he came in during the season for a couple games, he did pretty well. Won some games for Syracuse. But having to be the declared starter, we've seen some struggle there. And so the question is, what are we going to see from here? And that's something that Tommy DeVito can answer. You know, that's something that he is going to have to put forward, is what is he going to look like this season? How is he going to connect with the offense this season? How healthy is he? Which, God willing, he's 100%. But Tommy DeVito's, he's had time, and it hasn't always worked out for Syracuse. On the other side of it, Garrett Schrader is a new look, new opportunity, coming from the SEC. So I'd imagine those are your 2 guys you're going to see duke it out here in fall camp. Jacoby and Morgan, Luke McPhail, Dylan Marquis, and Justin Lamson are all freshmen. So they have a chance to make their mark, but they also will create a new quarterback competition going on from here. Listen, this is how I see it going. Because Tommy DeVito has struggled so much when he was the declared starter, and he wasn't the guy to kind of fill in for Eric Dungy, but he was the guy, I think Garrett's going to take the job this year. And I think he's going to keep the job. I think if he plays well enough, he's going to keep the job because he's a sophomore now, and he'll keep the job here at Syracuse for the next couple years, and the other guys will be working under him. All these freshmen will be working under him to get themselves in a good place to have a huge quarterback competition after this. Jacoby Morgan, Luke McPhail, Justin Lamson, Dylan Markowitz, if they all stay. Maybe they won't all stay. But you got 4 freshmen that'll be fighting behind Garrett Schrader for the job. And see, I would love that they let us into camp and actually let us into camp so we can see the development, see an hour of camp, because I would love to see all the quarterbacks going out there and duking it out and trying to make it happen. And I would love to see in the future these 4 that are now freshman quarterbacks, these 4 guys go up against each other and just see them all throw side by side and see what that looks like. I think that would be awesome. So here's hoping that Syracuse, will open up camp in such a way that we can actually see it, because I would love to see these quarterbacks, and I'd love to see their process of growing and maturing and really finding their footing. That would mean a lot to me. to be able to actually see the maturation process instead of just hear about it. I'd like to see it for myself so that I could tell you about it. Because we used to be able to go to camp, and we used to be able to be involved in camp for like an hour, half hour, 45 minutes, hour and 15. And I miss that because I like to take notes. I like to do my camp notebook. I like to really break things down. And so I would love the opportunity to do that, especially with the quarterback battle this season and potentially from here on out. If Garrett Schrader doesn't take it this year into next year, which I think he may, then, we could see a competition next year, or if not, the year after that. So a lot of good stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Donovan Brown will be joining the show for the first time ever. 2022 wide receiver committed to Cuse out of the great state of Maryland will tell his story right after this on Wake Up Call from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We appreciate you so much for being here, and thank you for being a part of where sports meets life every single week. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT, and of course you can watch and listen as you are right now on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, all inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. And I'm very happy here to be with 2022 incoming commit to Syracuse wide receiver Donovan Brown. Donovan Brown joining us from Montgomery Village, Maryland for the first time ever on Wake Up Call. So let's bring him in. Donovan, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're doing well, man. And kind of first off, for you, when did football start? When do you remember picking up your first football and really falling in love with it?
So, I used to play a game, some people call it throwback tackle or throw tackle. I used to play that with all my friends, and I was pretty fast, so, all my friends, they were like, you should play football, but one moment that really made me, actually think of the football is my friend Paul. His dad, because I used to play t-ball when I was younger, and his dad realized that I was fast, and he was a coach, and he was like, I think you should play football, and I tried it out, and I loved the sport, and I was about 7 or 6.
So going back there, 6, 7 years old when you first started to get into the game of football, how did it evolve for you? Did it evolve quickly? Did you kind of like it a little bit and then start to get into it more as you got older? Did you always have love for it from when you were 6 or 7? How did the game evolve for you?
So, I used to watch my dad, watch the Washington football team where they were the Redskins back then, I used to see him watch it, and I used to be like, football looks fun. So when I started playing it, I didn't know as many rules, but I wanted to learn the game as much as possible. So, I used to try to do what I seen on TV, and as fun as it looked, it was hard, starting because I didn't really know much. And growing up, I didn't really know how to tackle. I didn't know how to catch as much. I just knew I had speed, so give me the ball and I'll run, But once I hit about 11, 10, I just felt like I was getting the hang of the game, and I was starting to love hitting. I was starting to love catching the ball. I was getting so much better. And, I just have family to back me up and support me on it, and friends. And I just felt like I loved the sport after that.
Speaking here with Donovan Brown, 2022 incoming wide receiver committed to Syracuse. Donovan, you got to go and have a visit at Syracuse. Bring me into the visit, because I know you got to put on the entire uniform, got to put the helmet on, take some pictures. What was the experience like being at Syracuse?
That might have been one of the best things I ever did in my life. So, I never actually been on a good visit. I never been to any type of visit. That was my first one. So I'm walking around the school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see myself in this school before I even see the school around and do all this other stuff. I'm just like, this school is somewhere I can see myself. So as I'm talking to the coaches and talking to my mom, I'm just like, I can see me walking through these halls, putting on a jersey every day, going to the game field, cooking, scoring touchdowns. We even went to the game field, and I had to run down the field a little bit. I'm like, I can just see myself running a post route, catching this ball, running the end zone, just doing what I do. And everything about the school just made me feel like I was supposed to be there.
And like you said, going on that visit might have been one of the best things you've ever done in your life. And you could just, when you say you could just feel it, you could just feel yourself on the field running a route. You could feel yourself walking through and just being a part of, like, how could you feel that, like, what happened? What is it about Syracuse that just made you feel that way? Because you can walk on any campus and not feel that way. So why do you think it felt like that?
So as I'm talking to Coach Samuel, we had a connection already. Like, that was our first time actually like meeting up in person. We had that connection already. It's just like he was ready to work and get me better, and I was ready to learn and get better. Because I know wide receivers are not born; they're made. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like he knew what he was talking about, and there's many coaches that just talk. But he knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows the game like the back of his hand. And as like I'm looking at the school and listening to him, it just felt like that was the place to be.
And you brought up Terrence Samuel. He was hired by Syracuse back on January 22nd. What is it about him? Like you said, you have that relationship, you have that connection. What do you like about Terrence Samuel? Because the fans at Syracuse, they're going to get to know him this season. What can you tell me about why you feel like he's going to be a good teacher for you?
One, he's a great man. He's a great coach. His personality, that's just like top charts right there, And I just feel like when we were in the room together and we were like looking at plays and all this other stuff, it's like I can like imagine it already. Like I know if I mess up, he's gonna get on my ass and get me better. I know if I do something good, he's gonna, even though it's good, he's gonna tell me I could have get better or correct it. And you always need that in your life because not everybody is perfect. You know what I'm saying? So he's just that guy you want to be around 24/7.
And Terrence Samuel, the new wide receivers coach for Syracuse, looking back at his tenure, 1998 to 2000, he was at Nebraska Omaha as a grad assistant, then 2001 to 2002 at Arizona as a grad assistant, 2003 to 2005, Nebraska Omaha defensive backs from 2003 to 4, outside linebackers at special teams in 2005. In 2006, he was at Southeast Missouri State as the wide receivers coach. 2007, back in Nebraska Omaha for offensive coordinator, running backs coach. 2008-9, North Dakota State wide receivers coach. 2010, Central Michigan wide receivers. 2011 to 2019, his longest stint, Michigan State wide receivers from 2011 to 18, and defensive backs in 2019. And then in 2020, the UNLV passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach. When I read all of that off to you, he's obviously been around the block. He's been to different places, spent a lot of time at Michigan State. What does his tenure mean to you? What does his resume mean to you?
All that means to me is that he knows what he's talking about and he knows what he's doing. There's no reason for me to just sit here and sugarcoat anything. That is the man of his word. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's taught people, he's got them better. And they were a good school, They were a good school. There's nothing wrong with that school. But now he's here to get me better and my teammates better. So, hey, I'm ready.
And you said something that I thought was really, really interesting and very cool. Is you said wide receivers are not born, they're made. Why do you believe that? Bring me into that a little bit deeper. Wide receivers are not born, they're made.
As a receiver myself, not everybody can you're not born being able to catch the ball. You're not born being able to drop your hips and be quick and elusive. You have to physically be taught, you have to physically learn, and you have to physically be there as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day, there's people that say when you work out, you get 1% better. As a receiver, you do drills every single day to get better. Because it's just like how Kobe, he said he used to do all the fundamentals. For a receiver, you do all the fundamentals of catching the ball, you're never going to drop it. If I practice doing a fade route, I'm going to get better on that fade route. If I practice doing the post, I'm get better at the post. If I get on the jam, it's doing the same thing, the same results. Get better every time.
Speaking here with Donovan Brown, 2022 incoming wide receiver committed to Syracuse from the state of Maryland. Donovan, you got an offer from Syracuse back on July 27th. You committed on July 30th. Why commit right after getting that offer? Only 3 days, not even half a week. Why did it just feel right? I know we talked about the visit, and I'm sure that played a big part in it, but when you look back on it, you get an offer, and then 3 days later you're committed. Why make that decision so quickly?
You know, it's been 4 to 3 years, you know, going into, high school. And, they gave me a chance, so I get to, put my skills on to the next level. There's no point in me waiting. I'm a senior now. So what is the point of me doing all this waiting, trying to get everybody so surprised? It's like, hey, it's here. It's in your face. What you going to do with it now? You just going to let it sit? No, I'm going to take it.
And I think that's awesome that, like you said, why wait? It's sitting right here in your face. It's what felt right for you. Syracuse was your first D1 offer, and then you commit. What does that mean to you, the fact that Syracuse reached out at the end of July and said, hey, we want to officially offer you a scholarship, and then boom, here you go. Like you said, you didn't wait after that. So to have Syracuse reach out to you and then you reach back so quickly, just what that story feels like for you, that they gave you a chance as the first D1 offer, and then you said, okay, you know what? You guys believe in me. I don't need to hear from anybody else.
Exactly what you just said. That's exactly how I felt. I was just like, there's no point for me to be waiting around. Because, I already know how the game goes a little bit. Once you get one offer, then they all keep coming. You're not going to watch my film. You're not really going to put no effort into me. They took the time. They watched my film. They brought me in. They did this. They did that. They actually put interest into me. So, boom, I'm going to commit to somewhere I feel safe and I feel like they believe in me.
And you doing that, fans are going to say, okay, there's some time in between. Other schools, like you said, could come calling. What keeps you committed to Syracuse? Are you 100% in? Is there any chance that you even entertain anything else?
I'm not. Oh, I can tell you for 100%. I'm not going to entertain anybody else. I already told everybody, all my friends, they would tell you themselves. I said, I'm not leaving. No school can tell me or do anything to make me leave. It's guaranteed. Just like how the head coach said, he said it's just like marriage. Once you're in it, you're in it. There's no leaving it.
So you have this marriage, this connection. You're coming into Syracuse as a wide receiver, and when we look at wide receivers in Syracuse history, Marvin Harrison, Rob Moore, Scott Schwades, a lot of guys that Art Monk, obviously Kevin Johnson, and then more recently, some of these guys getting the top 20 in yardage. Amba Adetawo, Alec Lemon, Irv Phillips, Taj Harris is on the board right now. Jared West, Marcus Sales. Obviously, I don't want to forget Kadri Ishmael, Chris Gedney, who played tight end, Johnny Morant. There's a lot of awesome names, and there's a lot of recent names on the list. What does it mean to you when I read off this list and I hear some of these names? Do you know the Rob Moores and the Marvin Harrisons and the Art Monks? I mean, what do those names mean to you?
Those names, they mean a lot. That tells you that Syracuse knows what they're doing and they put people in the league. Simple as that. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. So it's not no game from here. It's not no just, some joker type stuff. Like, they know what they're doing over here. They're going to get me better. And they're going to try to do their best to get me to my full ability and to get me to that NFL stage.
What is the best thing, Donovan, about your game? What would you say are your best attributes right now?
My hands and my speed.
And then,
my route.
Go ahead.
My route running, it gets better every day. It gets better every day. I say it's nice. My speed and my hands. Even if you're with me, I promise you I'm coming down with that ball.
So, conversely, what are the areas you want to work on the most?
More of my routes, my routes, they're good, but, I want them to be better. I can, do more.
And so with that route running, what have you done to go beyond practice? What other drills or different things are you doing to make sure that your route running is going to be where you need it to be?
Getting out of my break, because I can juke somebody on my route and boom, boom. But, getting out of my break is a little slow, so that's all I really got to work on. Getting out of my break a little bit more. So, once I do that and that's it, that's the way I want to, I think I'll be, one of the best receivers.
Donovan Brown heading to Syracuse. You heard it. It's like a marriage. Once you're in it, you're in it. It's done. 2022 incoming. Bring me into, for the people that don't know, where you were, where you transferred to. You and I were talking off the air about you transferring, high school-wise until you get into Syracuse. So bring me into the situation you were in and how you feel about where you are right now.
Okay, so I was at a school named Walker Mill. A lot of great athletes I know that went there. They could. I think they should have went far in life, but it never happened. And it hurts me to see because I'm really close with these people, and these are people I call family to me. And one of the coaching staff left. And all my friends started leaving, and I didn't like it because I still thought my team had faith. I was going to move the quarterback, and we were going to have my little same old JV team because my JV team was nice. But it broke me to pieces, so I had to get out of there because everybody was getting out of there. So I got out, and I believe in Coach Kelly. And ever since I got to Quince Orchard, it's just been better than ever. The work ethic, the weight room, practice, and the family-wise, everything just feels like this is how football's supposed to feel. And, for my brothers right now at QO, we all going to eat, we all going to get it. And I promise you, there's a lot of names coming out of that school.
And I'm excited. And I know, listen, wide receivers, as we talked about in Syracuse history, a huge piece of their history, and so much to be had for you and to be explosive. So what do you want to say to Orange Nation? What should they know about you? What if you were standing at a podium right now and every Syracuse fan was listening, what do you want to say?
All I really want to say is wait till the season comes. Let's see what happens. And just watch the show. I love you. Simple as that.
It's awesome. Coming from Donovan Brown here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios. Donovan, really quick here. I like to do a thing on my show called Rapid Fire. It flips the script. Normally players and coaches don't get to ask the questions. On my show, you do. So you can ask me anything. Could be football, could be sports, could be anything about life, could be music, movies, whatever you want. 3 questions. I have to answer them, and I have no idea what you're going to ask. But whenever you're ready, you get to run Wake Up Call for the next 3 questions. What do you got for me?
All right. What made you pick the job that you have right now?
I love telling stories. I love bringing people together. I love seeing people smile. The tagline of my show, Wake Up Call, is where sports meets life. And the easiest way to describe that is I take sports like a vehicle, but inside that vehicle I put comedy, humility, community, love, affection, justice, positivity. I love using the world of sports to bring people together, and I love being able to tell people stories like yourself. And what you'll learn from me is I'm talking to you now. I'll talk with you as it gets closer. I'll talk with you when you're at Syracuse, and I'll talk to you after Syracuse, because once you're on Wake Up Call, I will tell your story for as long as you'll let me.
Okay. Question number 2. What's your favorite sport and why?
Favorite sport? That's tough. I love football. Love football. And I played basketball pretty much the majority of my life from 7 on. So I love going out and physically playing basketball myself. And then football, I played pickup, we played flag football, whatnot. Never put the pads on, just always went out there and, kind of played pickup games and whatnot. But it's a toss-up between the two because I really love the sport of football, but God gave me something with basketball and that talent to shoot from anywhere and now that I didn't like running when I was in high school, Dom. I'm going to be real with you. I did not like to run. I didn't like suicides. But now I do more cardio. But God always gave me that ability to take that shot. And so I love basketball. I love getting back on a court. I love being on a court by myself, total silence, just me and the ball. So I would say basketball, but football is really close.
Okay. You have one person to give a shout out to. Who would it be?
Oh man, one person to give a shout out to. Who would it be? I would have to say, if I had to pick one, because I definitely would want to shout out my mom and shout out my dad for different reasons. But if I could only pick one person, I would shout out my grandmother, my mom's mom. I called her G Mama, and she lived to be just shy of 101, and so I would shout her out. If I had the world stage and I stood up there with a mic, I would shout out my grandma and just say, G Mama, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for telling me all the advice you gave me, and to always love myself, to not care what other people think of me, to always chase my dreams, that there's nothing that can stop me with God by my side, and that all good things come to those who wait, and all good things come to those who work for them. So I would say that to my grandma.
Okay, I like that.
So that coming from Donovan Brown, 2022 wide receiver coming out of Maryland, dedicated and committed to Syracuse. You will see him in orange and blue. His words, not mine. Donovan, I appreciate it, man. I would love to have you back on the show, and I very much am grateful for you taking some time to tell your story, and congratulations on your commitment.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That coming once again from Donovan Brown, committed to Syracuse for the incoming freshman class of 2022. Donovan Brown, wide receiver, coming out of the great state of Maryland. So big shout out to Donovan Brown, and thank him so much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So thank you to Donovan for joining the show. We got some more stuff coming up here. I got the Syracuse, the official roster, the official roster. We were given these by Syracuse University, and I'm looking through it right now. Got the official roster, and we'll be talking about that in just a moment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora when we come back after this fast break. Appreciate you being here, hanging out with us inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, in downtown Syracuse, inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, where Rob Drummond and I will be doing a show this month on August 23rd. Spoiler alert, look at that, just told you. That's why you listen to the show live. And we also love going out to the first ever drive-thru location of Cafe Kubal. Their drive-thru is located on the Sweetheart corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, so you check them out there as well. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, come back and talk about Syracuse's official roster for the football season right after this.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpassnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the southern tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market, but download the app before you do that on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. So the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, get the Millhouse Market app. They will have everything for you on the application itself. The Millhouse Market app proudly giving you literally everything that you could possibly need. Not only all of the menu, but to also provide for you directions on how to get there, which is a beautiful thing, keeping it easy and keeping it simple for you. So right on the Millhouse Market app, there is a direction portion of it where you can just type in where you are and it'll take you right to the Millhouse Market. Plus they have all their homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and the sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, you have everything right there on the Millhouse Market app, and contactless pay, and there's a drive-through window, so you can grab your food and go. Tuesday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., you can grab your food right there at the drive-through after ordering on the app, and you can go on your way from there and have everything you need. You can also go inside their general store, and you can dine inside with their bistro restaurant. And the bistro menu changes every single weekend, so you got to come in every weekend and see what they have on special during the weekends for the indoor restaurant. So a lot of great stuff at the Millhouse Market, changing things up every single week, constantly evolving. And listen, their pastries and their breads and all this stuff, so many people come and get them, so it's while supplies last. That you might wake up this morning and they have sun-dried tomato mozzarella bread, and guess what? By noon it might be gone. So while you're listening to Wake Up Call, you need to be driving out to Millhouse, or before or after, get yourself out to the Millhouse Market, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Open Tuesdays through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Worth the drive every time. And welcome back inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. This is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal, multiple locations around central and upstate New York. Make sure you head out to the one closest to you today to grab a cup of coffee, to grab some tea. I love my chai that I get there. The spices and the syrups, they make it all in-house, and it's just got a different flavor. It's got that Cafe Kubal flavor, and that's why I love it. So get out to Cafe Kubal today. We are in hour number 1 inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. You heard from Donovan Brown. Coming up in hour number 2 in its own separate video is our Fantasy Football Power Hour, as always. But before we go there, I want to get to this. This is the Rasta. The Rasta. So I want to get to, this is the official Syracuse football roster for this season. We were given this as camp started, the 2021. This is my year, right? 21 is my number. So this is unless I well, let's think here. Can we have it? Unless I lived to the year 2100, then this is my 21. So I got to enjoy this. 2021 Syracuse football fall roster, and we have McKinley Williams at number 0, as I mentioned before. Michael Jones changes his number from 13 to 3. So Michael Jones will be number 3 this season. Just to make a note here, the linebacker, sophomore, who led the team with interceptions last year after Andre Cisco. Cisco went down with an injury, leading the team with interceptions as a linebacker. Awesome stuff. Taj Harris, number 3 as well. Chris Elmore has moved back to fullback. We'll be doing an interview with him. Chris Elmore he's been on the offensive line. He's been all over the place. Well, he's playing fullback again this season as a senior coming out of Chicago, Illinois. He's wearing number 5. Garrett Williams switches from 14 to 8. So Garrett Williams, the redshirt freshman defensive back, is number 8. And Justin Lamson, the freshman, is going to be wearing number 10 this season. Dylan Markowitz stays with number 11, backup quarterback. DeVito stays with 13. Who else can I name here for you? Jacobian Morgan, as you know, number 15. Garrett Schrader, quarterback for Syracuse, coming in from Mississippi State that I mentioned a little bit earlier in the show. He will wear number 16 at the quarterback position. Amari Hatcher, wide receiver, coming in as a freshman, will be number 17. Rob Hanna stays at 19. Kendall Long is going to be wearing my number. Kendall Long, wide receiver, who has been on the show multiple times from Lexington, South Carolina. He will be wearing number 21, the freshman wide receiver. So look out for 21 to hopefully make some hay in the year 21. Would love that. And Malcolm Folk is going to wear number 22, the defensive back freshman that's been on the show a lot. The second person to commit to Syracuse behind Terry Lockett. And Terry Lockett, speaking of him, he was the torchbearer of the incoming recruiting class of 2020. Lockett's going to wear number 90 on the defensive line, just so you know, as a freshman. So Abdul Adams is back at 23. Josh Huff, coming in, running back out of Pennsylvania, Beaver Falls, will wear number 22. What else can I tell you here? Malik Matthew, linebacker, will wear number 25, the freshman. I'm going to put these all on the website as well. Jarvion Howard is back at number 28. Marlo Wax stays at 32. Sean Tucker's still 34. And seeing here if there's notable here, I want to mention the freshman here so you know who's wearing what. Maximilian Mang, tight end freshman, is going to wear number 47. Austin Rune's going to wear number 49, linebacker, freshman out of Michigan, who's been on the show a couple times here. He'll be wearing that. JT Jadius Gear, coming from South Carolina, who's been on the show a bunch, defensive lineman, freshman. He's going to wear number 54. Coming in, Josh Alawa, freshman out of North Carolina, is going to wear number 55 on the offensive line. And Jadius Gear, he's played multiple positions. Could have played linebacker, I believe, too. They're putting him on the D-line, so that's worth noting here as well through camp to put him on the D-line. Enrique A. Cruz Jr., the man that'll be running for president with me. Chicago, Illinois, coming from there. He's going to wear number 71 on the offensive line, 6'6 freshman coming in. Wes Ho, who's been on the show a bunch from Illinois, he'll be wearing 73 on the offensive line. Kalen Ellis from Hawaii will be wearing number 76 on the O-line. Austin Cowhey from Hawaii will be wearing number 75 on the offensive line. Tyler Magnuson will be wearing number 77 on the offensive line. These are all freshmen coming in wearing, I think that's awesome, because Mark Petrie, the sophomore coming back on the O-line, has number 72. But Enrique A. Cruz Jr., Wes Ho, as well as Austin Cowhey and Kalen Ellis and Tyler Magnuson, from 71 through 77, outside of a couple numbers, I think that's cool that they're kind of all going down the line on the offensive line, with Cruz wearing 71, Ho wearing 73, Cowhey 75, Ellis 76, Magnuson 77. That's kind of cool. Landon Morris, coming from Indianapolis, Indiana, the tight end that's been on the show. He's going to wear, I love this number, he's going to wear number 81. So that's worth noting. Freshman defensive lineman Derek McDonald will wear 81 on the defense. Damian Alford, freshman wide receiver, will wear number 82. And Aronde Gadsden, wide receiver, freshman, will wear number 89. Worth noting here. And then Elijah Fuentes Cundiff, the freshman D lineman, is going to wear number 99. So I may have missed a person or two. My apologies if I did, but that's some of the number changes and some of the freshmen coming onto that's the official roster from Syracuse. So I wanted to give you some notes on that. I thought those were worth noting. God bless me. I don't know what it is. Maybe the studio, God willing, the studio does not have any type of mold or anything going on in here, but I gotta say, I probably sneezed on the air 4 times in a decade. Probably 4 times in a decade. And I think I've sneezed like 4 times in, a week. Not 4 times a week, but I've sneezed more times in this past last 9 or 10 months on the air than I did in 10 years on the air. So my apologies for sneezing on the air. It's not. I don't like to cough on the air. I don't like to clear my throat. I don't like to sneeze, any of that stuff on the air, because I don't think it sounds good. But you can't help it sometimes. So forgive me on that one. There we are. So any final notes on Syracuse football before we hop into hour number 2 with Mr. Mike Sofka? I'm really, the thing I'm circling the most is the quarterback battle. I mean, I think everybody's there. I'm really circling that, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with the quarterbacks. Is Tommy DeVito going to just inherit the job that he's had for the last couple seasons, or does Garrett Schrader have a true chance to take the job? That's a question that I have on my mind. And then having the 4 freshmen behind them, either freshmen that have been here for a season but were granted the free year thanks to the NCAA during the pandemic, or if they're actual true freshmen like Justin Lamson coming in. So, the quarterback situation is very interesting to me, kind of how that's going to shake up and what that's going to really look like. It's very interesting to me to see what's going to happen there, because I would imagine Garrett Schrader's got a shot to take this job, or somebody's got a shot to take the job, because Tommy, who I respect and appreciate his family, strictly talking about football and the competition on the field, I would say it's an open competition at quarterback. So I would like it to be an open competition at quarterback, because I want to see what other people have to offer, and if Tommy, listen, and it's not just to do with the injury. If Tommy had been more consistent, then we're not having this conversation, right? If Tommy had gone out there and they had a better record and he was more consistent and he made better plays and better moves and whatnot, because not all the sacks are on the offensive line. Some of those are on the quarterback. So, and Dino Babers brought that up in our opening address of fall camp. That you can't just say one person or one group is responsible for the sacks. Sometimes a running back doesn't pick somebody up. Sometimes a quarterback makes a bad decision. Sometimes wide receivers are all defended, in the field, and the quarterback is looking around and the guys aren't getting open. Sometimes it's the offensive line. So, I think looking at this, it's got to be an open competition. So, and that's not me wishing anything bad on Tommy. I hope the competition lights a fire in his butt and he comes out and plays best football he's ever played in his entire life. I just think as of right now, if I was walking into camp today and I was the quarterback coach, I would say, you know what? Okay, let's see what everybody's got. Jacobian, let's see what you got. My freshman, let's see what you got. Lamson, welcome to the team. Let's see what you got. Schrader, let's see what you bring in here from Mississippi State. So I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. Syracuse kicking off the season at Ohio on September 4th on a Saturday. They'll play at home against old rival Rutgers from New Jersey on September 11th. Bunch of players coming back for that. Stay tuned. Could be something cool that Wake Up Call is doing. I don't know. September 18th, they'll play UAlbany. September 24th on a Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, they'll play Liberty. Liberty came to the Dome last year and won their first ever game against an ACC opponent. Syracuse not looking to let this to not be a reoccurring thing that Liberty comes into their home and beats them. So Syracuse trying to return the favor against Liberty. Then Syracuse will have their second road game of the season and first game of ACC play at Florida State on October 2nd on a Saturday. Then they'll be home to play Wake Forest. Then they'll play Clemson on a Friday night at home. Big time game for Syracuse. They get up for this game, 7 p.m. Hope they get up for every game. October 15th, 6 days before my birthday, on a Friday night at 7 p.m., Syracuse will be playing Clemson. Then they'll be at Virginia Tech on October 23rd, right before Halloween, which is on a Sunday this year. Parents, take note. They'll be playing Boston College at home on October 30th on a Saturday. Then they'll be on the road for 2 at Louisville, at NC State, and then they'll be home against Pittsburgh, another rival, on November 27th, hopefully not their last game of the season. So Syracuse pretty nice here. They're 3 out of their first 4 games are at home. Then they have 1 road game, 2 at home, and then they have to do the other side of it where they have 3 road games in 4 weeks, and then or in 5 weeks, so they have a bye week in the middle. That actually helps out. They have road, home, bye, road, and then they have Pittsburgh at home. So, more home games in the beginning, and then the back end, they'll be spending more time out on the dusty trail. But that is Syracuse's season at a look for 2021 football. I want to thank Donovan Brown for being a part of hour number 1. And it's now time for us to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com, and of course our winning fantasy football group here on the Facebook. So very excited to bring Mike in, and we're going to be doing that here with Mr. Sofka as he's going to be joining us in just a second here where sports meets that thing called life. Very happy to have Mike on the show as always. We're going to end this video on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll join